Okay, we're streaming live here. We are live here on YouTube, live here on Facebook. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com, but you already know that because you've been watching my videos, listening to podcasts, waiting for the live, or maybe you've never heard of me, then I have no idea how you're watching this right now. Let me just get a confirmation that this is coming in clear. So here on Facebook, here on YouTube, can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we ready to go? And of course, as always, tell me where you are watching from. I want to see where everyone's from today. King James Live says, thanks for all the great content. You're welcome, King James. Thank you for being a king. How do you handle being away in the military? We get that. Andrew, I've seen you here before. We'll get into that. Clear. Everyone says clear. Oh, wow, it looks different here on Facebook. What's going on, Apoorv? How you doing? Can you hear me and see me? Clear, crisp, HD? Crystal clear. Good, good. What about here on Facebook? Good morning trip from the Philippines, says Ronil. Cool. We were actually thinking about going to the Philippines, but it's kind of tough to get around there. We got people from India, Florida, Toronto, Orlando, Toronto again, Australia, Mississippi, Illinois, Irvine, Ventura, Oregon, Rhode Island. Shout out, please. Angel, you've been shouted out. Adrian, Chicago. I think I've seen you here before. Trinidad, West Indies. Wow. California, Whittier. I've heard of Whittier. It's 2 a.m. in Morocco. So did you stay up for this, or did you just happen to see this? Morocco. Freddie says, what's poppin' from NYC? Just watch the Bernie Sanders town hall, now to this, says Brandon. Very cool. Texas, South Texas, Essex, England. Cool. Okay, so listen, we're going to get started here. We got a bunch of people watching. Here is the big rule of the live, if you haven't been here before. The big rule is if you ask a very vague and generic question, I'm not going to be able to answer it. The examples of that are, how do you attract women? How do you get a girlfriend? Things like that. Those are big questions that would take weeks to answer. Yes, I could actually talk about those topics for weeks on end. So we're looking for a little bit more specific, maybe a situation that you're in. It's better for me to answer. It's easier for me to answer because we can really dive into something that is, again, more specific. So general questions, they can be answered here basically by watching my YouTube channel or listening to my podcast because I answer those questions. So if you're looking to understand how to attract women, well, that's what my whole YouTube channel is about, and there's lots of videos on that. So let's get specific. Let's get into it. We're here for the next about 50 minutes. So I'm here for you, and I know there's always a lot of people, so I'll do my best to get your question because a lot of questions come in, and feel free to copy and paste and repeat your question if I haven't gotten to it because I know that sometimes the feed scrolls so fast. So we'll do our best. What's up, Jacinda? Salvador, what's going on? Mohammed, that's an example of a question that is too vague. How can I make a relationship continue? Let's go a little bit more specific. Cool. Kevin says, what is your view on the RSD stuff? Do you agree with your teaching? Works well? No comment on that one. No comment on that. Honestly, I don't really watch a lot of that stuff. I don't watch a lot of other people's stuff. So honestly, whatever's working for you, whatever vibes with you. Jacinda, you're watching from YouTube and on Facebook. Look at you. What's up, heroes? I asked her out. She turned me down. Should I ask her out again? I'm going to go with no on that one. We don't want to be desperate. And more importantly, we don't want to be going after women who don't want you, right? Oh, we got an angry face. Why are there 50 angry faces coming on Facebook? What have I done? We just got started. For going out during the day, is it better to be direct or indirect? You know what? It's something for you to test out. It's something for you to test out. If you want to test out going up to a girl and letting her know that you think she's cute, try that out. I've noticed that when I'm working with guys, they end up doing a lot better when they actually go indirect because it lets the girl's guard down a little bit. So I would try maybe going indirect first, but test everything out. Everything should be a test to see if it works for you and to see if you're getting results. I keep on getting like 50 angry faces on Facebook. What's happening? Apurv says, the dominant behavior that you taught has worked wonders for me. Heart, talk more about that. Well, if it's working for you, then what else is there to talk about? Okay, for the person who's giving all the angry faces, why don't you just speak up and tell us why? Maybe I can answer your question. I don't have a girlfriend, not even a girlfriend, says Anshul. Well, that's why you're here, right? To help with that. Tyler says, how can I make it clear to a girl that I don't want to date her, even though I've already been clear that I don't want to? She still persists. Interesting. Tyler, I think this is. I'm glad that you said this because now you're kind of in the shoes of what it's like to be a girl who continues to get asked out, and for guys who persist. I know there's a lot of guys on here who keep on persisting with the girl even though they get rejected, and so Tyler is obviously very annoyed, maybe even frustrated. So you can see how it feels to a girl if you're persisting and she's not interested. Probably not too good, right? Probably not too good. That's an interesting question, Tyler. I'm not really sure. I mean, how much more clear can you make it to her? Maybe you've been a little bit light in the way you've been saying it to her. Maybe you've been kind of like smiling, joking around, but maybe you need to be a little bit more serious with her and let her know that you're not interested and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, but this is not something that I'm interested in, and there's nothing that you can do. Andrew says, can we talk about my military thing real quick? Yeah, Andrew, we can talk about that, but you just got to post your question so I can read it. Trip, what's the best way to respond to a girl saying, let's just be friends? Should you accept her offer or reject it and tell them you're not interested in being friends? That's kind of up to you. I mean, here's the thing, is that I know for guys is that they'll accept the friendship. A lot of guys will say, okay, let's just be friends. But in the back of their head, they're really just trying to stick around in the hopes that the girl will like them. But 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen. And if you don't believe me, well, you can try it out. But it's not going to end very pretty. So trust me when I say that the let's just be friends thing, you might want to tell her, like, listen, yeah, I'm not interested in being friends. And that's just not how it's going to be for me. But then what I'm saying to you is don't stick around and be your friend. Unless you can really honestly say to yourself that you could be friends with her, but I don't know how you're going to just like snap your fingers in 1 second you like her and the next second you can just be her friend. So, being realistic, you should probably give her some space and try to move on yourself, or else it's just going to be a big tease for you. How do you get a girl to respect you? Respect her. Every girl I meet, we always go cozy on the first date, and man, Facebook is just killer here. It's cutting off the sentences here. And I'm not sure why. What happens if I do this? Nothing. Trip, why you stole a video? What video? How do I go up to a girl I find attractive without being too nervous? Jumpman23 says. Jumpman23, you look familiar, or your name looks familiar. I think I've seen you on here before. Nervousness goes away with practice. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 because you're trying to get rid of the nervousness, and I'm telling you to get rid of the nervousness, you have to actually do the thing that makes you nervous. So I understand how that can be kind of frustrating. But what I say on here all the time to guys who are very nervous to talk to women that they're attracted to is to start off very small, take baby steps, and practice just going up to girls and starting conversation that might not be trying to hit on them or trying to get their number, but starting off really small and working your way up, because really what's going to make you less nervous, I mean, anything that you're scared of, right? Fear comes from really the unknown. We fear things that we're not familiar with. So a lot of guys, since they're not familiar with talking to girls or conversing with girls, really the key is trying to go up and talk to them. That's my very quick question. Trip, when you first meet a girl, should you ask for a date right away, or says Criminal Milk, that's a very interesting name, or ask to hang out first and build comfort, then ask for the date? Well, you don't want to ask a girl on a date before you get any signs that she's interested, right? If you're talking to a girl and she doesn't seem interested in the conversation, I don't know why you'd want to ask her out, unless you know this is the only time you're ever going to see this girl again. Then you might as well, because you don't know. But honestly, I wouldn't be asking her on a date or asking for her number unless you know she's somewhat interested. Any ideas for a year-long anniversary date/gifts? Something special for the two of us. I think a good idea for an anniversary gift is really spending time together. I think setting up a special night or a special weekend is probably a good idea. My cousin's wife keeps accidentally touching me. I like her, but I don't want to ruin my relationship with my cousin. Any advice? Wow. Yeah, don't touch that with the 10-foot pole. She keeps accidentally touching you. Honestly, this is the problem that I see a lot with guys, is that they're in such a scarce mindset that they think that, okay, the first girl that shows them any interest, this is the girl that they have to go for, especially when it's someone that's like your cousin's wife. This is a very, very bad idea. So my tip to you, King James, is stay away from this. And, if we're being honest with each other, if this continues to happen and it's making you feel uncomfortable, I might bring up something to your cousin. But the fact that you like her, I hope that you're not showing her any signs that you're interested in her. So stay far away. This is not worth it. Even in a perfect world, if you knew for sure that she liked you and you liked her, is that worth destroying a possible relationship with your family member? I don't think any girl is worth destroying that when you guys haven't been even together yet. Am I still live? Yes, Kamal, this is live. This is not pre-recorded. On first date with every girl I meet, we get very cozy and something. I don't see what that says. Am I getting wrong girl by character? Is that my talent to make her feel? Sorry, Apoorv, and sorry, people on Facebook. If you want to go live on Facebook, we can do that. But I can't read these questions because Facebook is cutting it off, and I don't know why. All right, guys, what other questions you got here? Andrew Watson, I know I said I'd be going to you, but your question is now somewhere lost. On Facebook? Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you read Apoorv? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On first date with every girl I meet, we get very cozy and break up later. Am I getting wrong girl by character, or is that my talent to make her feel?
Got it. Okay, so what's happening, Apoorv, is you're saying that you guys are getting really close, but then it doesn't end up working out. Okay, so this is a very tough question to answer. I get questions like these all the time when guys are like, hey, I'm with this girl and she liked me, but then she doesn't like me. I can't answer that question because I don't have enough details. So you're going to have to either give me more details or it's going to be difficult to answer because you could have done a million things from the point of meeting her to now that she's not interested anymore. So the only really best answer that I can give you is really pay attention to some of the patterns that are happening when you're spending time with a girl on a date. There might be something that you're doing that's turning her off, but you don't know it yet. So maybe, change things around. Are you trying to be too physically aggressive in the beginning? Maybe that's causing her to kind of be pushed away. If you're saying you're getting cozy with her, I don't know for sure. maybe I would try not doing that. Again, I don't know if that's the case, but it's kind of about testing out and seeing what's working, what's not working, so you're able to kind of coach yourself. Omar says, how's it going? It's going great. It's 9:22 a.m. for me, by the way, so it is very different for me right now than most of the people who are watching this. You're probably like hanging out, it's post-dinner, but I am early in the morning. All right, let's get to some YouTube questions. I've been disregarding you for a while. How to start a conversation with an unknown girl on Instagram or any other social media. You know, it's like I don't want to give you advice on that because I'm really against starting a conversation with a girl on Instagram or social media because you're swimming upstream with this one. You're making it more difficult for yourself. Most girls ignore the kind of spammy, guys trying to go and hit on them on Instagram or slide into their DMs or, talk to them on Facebook when they haven't even met. It's like, this is difficult to do because it's difficult to build attraction with a girl who you've never met and you're doing it for the first time digitally, okay? So my answer to you is try meeting girls in person instead of trying to hit on them, digitally for the very first time. Obviously, the exception to this is online dating because with online dating, you know that they're interested in dating and they're looking for somebody. How can you build romantic with a girl? How to make sure you have an excellent date and keep the interaction? Again, kind of a big question here. How do you make sure you have an excellent date? With a first date, it's really about vibing with the girl, and it's not always going to be. There's just not always going to be a connection there. So I would say, try to relax. Try not to impress her. I think the second you try to impress a girl, especially on a first date, that's when you start to kind of go outside of who you really are. It starts to make you more tense and not relax, and then you end up not being as successful if you just kind of go in there curious about her, trying to learn about her, who she is. I mean, that's what a first date is, right? It's about you hanging out. I would say, and I'm going to be careful when I say this because I don't want you to take this in the wrong way, but treat her kind of like a friend. Not like she's your friend, but how would you act when you're with a friend? A little bit more relaxed, just kind of hanging out, asking questions, just relaxed conversation. So try to get in that mindset. Again, act like you're with a friend, but don't treat her like a friend, if that makes sense. Okay, the questions are coming in faster than I can handle. Jonathan Astley says, what do you do when a woman says, if your idea of a first date is going out for coffee, you're too cheap for me? Thoughts, Trip. Wow. I would say then that girl's not right for you. That's a really terrible, you know what? I would love to hear that. You know why? Because that automatically, you just prevented wasting many, many hours of spending time with this girl. Because if a girl needs something more than coffee for a first date to just sit down and get to know you, maybe she's looking for something more. I understand that if you're on a 7th date, maybe coffee is not the best idea. Maybe you want to do something different, but for a first date, if she can't handle coffee, then she can't handle you. Someone said coffee dates are best for first online dates. I do agree with that. Keep it simple. What are the questions we got? Let's get caught up here on YouTube. Places, okay, and I guess we're talking a lot about dates here. Which places are good places for a second date? Here's what I think is the best thing. First date, coffee. Second date, dinner. Demon Fox says, Jose, you will know when she comes along, you will feel it in your bones. Yes. It is intuitive. You just know. Miguel says baby steps, but I've been reading like you suggested. That's good, Miguel. How do you talk to a girl in a college library? Usually when I go up to girls, they're standoffish. Well, of course they're standoffish. You're in a library. You know, it's not a very comfortable place to be talking to a girl. And I'm not saying you shouldn't talk to her at the library or try, but if it's not working for you, I would try somewhere else. What's up, Vervito? I have a girl, Isaac says, I have a girl who gives me all the signs she's into me. However, when I approach her with action, she decides to flip to a friendship. Should I continue with the chase or let her be? Absolutely 100% let her be. She is either teasing you and trying to get your attention, or you're reading the signs wrong. So that means that she's either, well, both ways, she's not interested in you. So, Isaac, I would absolutely let this go. If a girl's having you chase her, that's a sign of immaturity to me. Okay, Johnny says, how to be social with people. One of my issues is I ask too much questions and facts. So my advice to you here, Johnny, is try the opposite. Right? So the opposite of asking questions is making statements. So one thing I talk about a lot on this channel is trying to tell a story or say something about yourself. Again, which is the opposite. A lot of people think that they have to wait to say something when someone asks a question. They're waiting for people to ask them a question, and you don't have to wait. You do not have to wait for someone to ask you a question to say something about yourself or to speak your opinion on something. So we need to reverse that idea and start saying things that, I mean, really whatever you want to say, that's not a question. You're allowed to do that, and that's okay to do that. And I would encourage you to do that more. And what happens is when you are offering information or telling a story or saying something that's a statement, you're giving opportunity for the person you're talking to ask you a question. So it's kind of a different skill, but a very important one. So I would try to practice that in conversation. Andrew Watson, if you're still with us, the feed is going very fast, so you can ask your military question if you'd like, if you're still here. But I can't scroll up because I have no idea where it is. Trip, does shredded guys mean masculinity, attractiveness? Well, let me ask my girlfriend Brittany, because I'm not shredded. So am I still masculine?
Yeah.
She says yes. Look at these guns. I'm shredded. So the answer is no. Masculinity doesn't come in the form necessarily of your physicality or what you look like. It's more about your personality and the way you handle situations. So, although I know that the media says otherwise. Jonathan says, if a woman is only talking about herself, what do you do? Is it worth turning her around, or is she selfish? You know, okay, so when people talk about themselves and they can't stop, this is a sign of actually nervousness. So I would like to actually practice a little bit of compassion. Now, of course, this is not always the case. Some people are narcissistic and they only want to talk about themselves. So this is not a concrete answer here. But I believe that a lot of the times when that happens is because the person is really nervous. So what I would try to do is try to do what I was saying before, interject and insert yourself in the conversation. And if it's a first date, I would try to, offer information about yourself, give her the benefit of the doubt to ask you questions, and try in another date or two. I would even go up to 2 or 3 dates to give her the opportunity to kind of relax and not get as nervous and see if she does turn around. So I would give it a shot and try to turn that around, because again, some people they get really nervous and they end up just talking about themselves the whole time, and that's just a nervous tick. So we don't know. But if you're on a second, third date, even fourth date with the girl, and she's still is not showing any interest in who you are as a person, you should get out of there. I would not stick around with that. And I would actually tell her too. I would tell her why and be honest with her. Because it is kind of a rude thing, and she should know. Because it's probably going to be very hard for her to connect with any guys in the future if she continues to do that. Good question. Guys, really quickly on YouTube, we have a lot of people watching here, so if I missed your question, copy, paste, and just go again. Hey Trip, it's Rick from Florida again. This girl I'm into has been going through tough times for years but doesn't want my help. Does that mean she doesn't like me, or what should I do? That's an interesting question. No, that doesn't mean she likes you or doesn't like you. That's not really a sign. But you can't force help on anybody. People, you can offer help, and if they take it, that's fine. But I just hope that you're not trying to get her to like you by offering help, because that's not a way to get a girl attracted to you. It's just by trying to help her with something. A girl becomes attracted to you when she gets to know you, and there's more sides of you than just trying to be helpful. So I hope you're not trying to stick around just trying to help her and hoping that because you're trying to help her, she's going to like you. Should you consider dating someone who rejected you in the past and later had a change of heart? Sure. Yeah, why not? Unless they rejected you in a very mean way and it was very rude. But if they were mature about it, then yeah, why not? Why not give it a shot? I'm curious. Then I would ask her what changed. Howdy, Trip. This is Cole here. I live people have seemingly an addiction to their phone, so I find it hard to initiate conversation. Do you have any tips? Cole, my question to you is, have you tried? Some people say that it's hard to initiate conversation because someone's on their phone or they look busy, but then they never approach, so they're just making excuses. So I would say, have you actually tried? King says, thank you so much. We do know each other very well. We grew up together. Okay, cool. Trip, if a girl asks you to travel alone with her, is it a sign she likes you or just friends? We've been friends for 4 months. So this could go either way. This could be a friendship. It cannot be a friendship. You cannot tell just because she's asking you to travel alone. So Italo, I would find out. I would actually ask her. If you're interested in her, then this is a good time to find out and ask her. And don't go on this trip without knowing. Because if you go on this trip and you say yes, and it turns out that she doesn't like you and it's just a friendship, you're going to get way more invested in her, and it's going to be a big heartbreak for you. So be careful here. Trip, how do you know if a girl wants you to ask her out? Some signs are that she's always talking to you, texting you, she's flirting with you, but I wouldn't always look for the signs. If you think that if you have an inclination that she is interested in you asking her out, don't go any further. Just ask her out. Don't just sit there and try to analyze it. Okay, Apoorv, you were asking this question a lot. I will ask you. You don't have to copy and paste her on Facebook. There's only a few people here. How do you keep a conversation going with the girl on a phone call? I'm unable to get things to speak, and we hang up later. Apoorv, that's an interesting question, because if this is a girl that is your girlfriend, I'm happy to answer that question. But if she's not your girlfriend, then your question shouldn't be, how do I keep talking to her on the phone? Really, your next move is to ask her out. So, and if she is your girlfriend, I'm guessing she's not, or else you probably wouldn't be asking that question. But if she is your girlfriend, then I would try to meet up with her more in person and not talk with her as much on the phone. But that might be a connection issue. If you guys can't talk on the phone, but you don't need to talk on the phone all the time. It's not like a necessity. But it is a necessity to be meeting up with her, because that's how relationships continue. Okay, what other questions we got here? I think we are breaking records. I think this is the most people we've had live so far. on the channel. So this is awesome. And we only have 37 likes. Pathetic. Let's get to 100, guys. Come on. Last time we got to 200 likes. So if everyone's watching this and I've ever helped you with anything, or this is helpful for you right now, or you're entertained by any reason at all, press like. Let's get up to 100. JSAD says 100. Awesome. That goes for you too on Facebook, by the way. Sportivity says, Trip, how important is it to have a mentor coach to support you or a mastermind? Very important. Very important. I think it's very important to have some sort of mentor, some sort of coach. A mastermind is very helpful too. But you know, here's the thing is, a lot of people, they can't necessarily afford having a coach. And that's okay, because you can have a coach right now. I'm your coach right now. Even if we weren't live, I'd still be your coach. People who are teaching you through books, through videos, through courses, through podcasts, they're your coach. So I think really the most important thing is that you're learning from somebody. That's how we get better, as we learn. Omar, that's a good question. I'm going to get to that in a second. So looking at me all the time. Thanks, Trip. We kissed and stuff. She really liked it, but she seemed to regret it. And I don't know why, even though she could not stop looking at me all the time. I'm not sure why either. Hey bro, watched your needy video. Was way too clingy before. Stopped talking to her for a few months to reset things. Just started talking to her again yesterday, only sent a few texts. What do? It depends how she's responding. There's a girl at school, I think she's cute, so should I ask her out or give her my phone number? Always ask out. Always be the one in control. If you give someone your phone number, you don't know if they're gonna get back to you. So you want to be the one who is in control here. So always get their number. Nathan says, what keeps you motivated to pursue your purpose in life? Well, if you have a purpose in your life or you have something that you do enjoy, the motivation kind of comes naturally. So if you don't seem motivated to be doing what you're doing, then that probably means that's not what you should be doing. Right? Say that 10 times fast. How to never get your heart broken again. There's no guarantees on that. Unfortunately, there's no guarantees. Nathan already answered that question. I get this question so much. Joshua says, how to change a girl's mind about being friends only. Don't. Stop trying to change her mind. Stop trying to convince the girl that only likes you as a friend to be more than a friend. Why do you want to convince someone that just likes you as a friend to be more than a friend if they just don't feel that way about you? Wouldn't you rather be trying to go for a girl that you have the opportunity for her to be interested in you? I mean, isn't it already a turnoff for you that you're going for a girl that doesn't like you? I know that's for a lot of guys and girls too. Sometimes when you can't have something, you want it more. So I understand that. But really think about it. You know, really sit down and think about this hard. Why would you want someone who doesn't want you? Think about that. What to do when a girl looks at me for a long time? Go and talk to her. Oops, Trip, my bad. Spam. Had a fling for a week this summer, but ended awkwardly. Next thing I know, we don't talk for months and act like nothing happened. I called her. We have a coffee date tomorrow. That's good. This is like the third most common question I get. Do you think it's okay to ask out a coworker? It's tough for me to say because I know that a lot of relationships have successfully started through the workplace. So I hear that part, but then on the other end, I've also heard that it's really a bad idea because if you guys break up and you're still working together, that can make your work environment very toxic. And that's the place where you spend all your time. So it's kind of up to you if you want that risk. Trip, how do you approach without attracting attention in public? I would say don't worry about that. Don't worry about attracting attention in public. Why try to stop that? If people are looking, let them look. Here's the thing you got to realize. When people are looking at you when you're talking to a girl in public, they're either A, jealous because they wish they could do it, or B, they think it's cute. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. That's so cool that someone's doing that. And if they're judging you, which is the other thing, then that just means they have an issue with themselves, right? And if they're judging you, then that's their problem. That's not your problem. Med says, watching from Poland. Awesome. Spartativity says, I got to go. Much love, Trip. You're a real man for what you're doing. Thanks, buddy. Kenji, Trip is a funny guy. I haven't even made any jokes yet. Demon Fox says, some workplaces don't allow dating. Yeah, I would check into that. Hey, Trip, I really like a girl. We stopped talking a couple months ago. What is a great icebreaker text to get her attention again? Ricky Bobby says. That's not your real name, is it, Ricky Bobby? You know what you should say, Ricky Bobby? You should text her and say, you have no idea what happened to me the other day. That will definitely get her attention, but hopefully you actually have something that happened to you the other day. So even if it was interesting, you could say it, and even if it was really boring, you could say it too, because that makes it kind of funny. Trip, I got success right away. I'm developing an abundance mindset, but I have acute sadness after success. Why? Ooh, that's interesting. That might be a sign of depression, potentially. I don't know why you would be sad after success. I'd really look into that and ask yourself why. What are the chances that someone likes me at school? I'm not very popular at school. You never know. Someone could like you. I don't think popularity necessarily means that that's the thing for girls to be attracted to you. Goldie Chapman says, hey, I asked 2 questions at 8:27 and 8:33. I'm sorry, Goldie, I cannot go all the way back. All right. Why is someone spamming the chat with a bunch of weird black boxes saying, what do I think about MGTOW? First of all, I hate that question. Stop asking me the question about MGTOW. I don't care about MGTOW, and that's not what I condone or believe in. So no more MGTOW questions, and if you're going to ask a MGTOW question, don't spam it with black boxes. Do it again and you're banned. If you don't know what MGTOW is, look it up. A lot of guys get into MGTOW with it's just filled with negative energy. If you don't, I mean, it's up to you. If you don't want to talk to girls, then you shouldn't be here. If you're trying to get dating advice and you don't want to talk to girls, then this is not the place for you. I mean, that's fine if you don't want to talk to girls or be with women. That's up to you at the end of the day, but that doesn't seem to be a lot of the mindset when it comes to that. There's a lot of sexism there, and I don't like it. Naturally funny, Trip. I guess so. Maybe I'm funny looking. Can I get the power? What do I think about Logan Paul? I got that question last week. I think he made a big mistake. That's what I think. I think it's sad to see someone at the top of their game and then just fall apart. So I'm curious to see what happens with him. Can you get back on Leo Gura's back on the channel? I haven't talked to him in a while, but he does put out really good content. I like his stuff. Trip do a video on long distance stuff. I thought I did. You should look that up. I might have done a video on that. I don't remember. I don't think the video stopped. We're still going. Aporf says, how do you keep a conversation going with a girl on a date? Ask her, bring out your curiosity and ask her questions that you're interested in. I'm sure you're interested in learning about her, so now you have an opportunity to do that. So now that you have someone in front of you that you want to learn about, what questions would you want to ask? What stories do you want to tell? What do you want her to know about you? That's the way to go into a date. What camera do I use for my vlog type vids? It's a Panasonic GH4 with a Lumix lens. Yeah. Oh, we're at 95 likes. Come on, guys. 5 more, we get to 100. Let's get to 100 here. Gareth says, how do I get my ex back when she's living with the Rebound guy? 2 years now. I'm blocked everywhere. Can't let go. Love her so much. It's time to move on. My suggestion to you, Gareth, is to get a therapist and work with a therapist to help you with this, because if you're still pining after a girl and it's been 2 years and she's blocked you, there's probably no chance of you ever getting her back, and you're going to have to try to deal with those emotions, and the best way to do that, I believe, is through therapy. What kind of easy things do you say to get to build attraction in a loud venue? Something easy to say and not too convoluted. There's no difference in what you say, whether it's a loud environment or a not loud environment, but I'd say in a loud environment, just talk closer to her. And don't, instead of having to shout, just lean in and talk into her ear. Best way to make friends in a new school is by joining clubs and activities. That's probably the easiest way. So things that you're already interested in, because it's easier to connect with people who have similar interests as you. I already answered the question about Logan Paul. So either rewind or, I don't know. It's funny that you guys keep asking me about that. Sounds like there is some streaming issues. Can I get, all right, Cuervo, I got to put you in a timeout, buddy. You're spamming the chat with this Logan Paul thing. And I'm not. You did a video on long distance. That's helping me these days. Okay, apparently I did do a video on long distance. I don't remember. And right now I got to go chat with that girl. Later, y'all. Thank you, Trip. You're welcome, buddy. Trip, who's your favorite dating coach that I can listen to? Me. How did I meet Brittany? Brittany and I met through a networking website called Adhd. Hey there, Trip. I'm taking a friend out for Valentine's Day that I've known for over 10 years. There's always been something there, but I've never acted on it. What should I do to impress her? I don't think there's anything you need to do to impress her. At this point, she either likes you or she doesn't, so I'd find out. Am I still coming in clear on YouTube, guys? No one's answered me on that question. How about Facebook? Because we lost about 40 people in a matter of 2 minutes, so something must have happened. Hey Trip, I have anxiety and the girl has anxiety as well. How do I go for it? I wouldn't look too much into it. I would still just go for it. P.S. What happened to the GF channel? It still exists. Should be putting up a video soon. Yeah. Clear on YouTube. Yes, I'm good. Stream lags sometimes. Okay. It kind of froze for a bit. All right. Lags a bit. Oh, sorry about that, guys. How do you approach a situation where a girlfriend is clearly lying, but she constantly denies and gets defensive, accusing you of not trusting her? Well, it's an interesting question because I'd really want to know if you know for sure that she's lying. Otherwise, maybe you're the one who's being delusional if we don't know. Is it normal to not get a kiss on a first date? Yes. Absolutely. How to ask a girl out? See, that's one of those big questions, but I can answer that in one sentence. Just ask her out. Ask her if she wants to hang out sometime. It's really that simple. I know why you're asking that question too. A lot of guys ask that question because they want to know the perfect way to ask a girl out so they prevent rejection. So just remember, there's no perfect way. Just do it. If you get rejected, you get rejected. Garrett said that advice just killed me inside, bro. I miss my ex. LOL. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I got to give you the truth. You know, that's just how it is. I know it's hard and I know it's really tough, but you have to move on and you got to figure out a way to do it. And like I said, my biggest advice is trying to work with your emotions and through your emotions with a therapist. You just have to give advice that works. So if you have good advice and it works for guys, there you go. You're now a dating coach. Trip, Trip, should I be friends first with girls? I would say no. That's usually the way into the friend zone, because if you're friends with a girl and she thinks you guys are friends and you don't make a move, you don't ask her out, then what ends up happening is she just thinks that you're a friend and then she puts you in the friend zone. What if my girlfriend was a complete arsehole? Break up with her. Ask her why she's being so mean. Communicate with her. Ask her what's going on. She never initiates texting. Is she not interested? That doesn't mean she's interested or not interested. It's more about whether or not she's going to be going on a date with you. Thank you, Marlon, for the super chat. That was very nice of you. Let me know if you have a question. I'm happy to answer it. King James says, thanks for asking my questions. I appreciate it. I think you mean answering, and you're welcome, buddy. Hopefully this isn't a constant lag. It looks like we lost some people, though. Marlon says, how to deal with ADHD in dating. That's an interesting question. I'm actually interested, Marlon, in more of the specific question of how is it affecting you? So what is the actual issue? But I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. So when it comes to any sort of mental issues, your best bet is to be talking to a professional about that. So if anyone here is dealing with serious anxiety, ADHD, ADD, OCD, anything like that, it's best to be talking to a licensed professional like a therapist, like a doctor, someone like that. So just remember that. How long do I usually stream? Well, I've probably got 5 more minutes left in me, and then we're going to call it. I usually stream for an hour. Guys, I do this at the same time every single Tuesday, so don't forget, this is not like a once random every kind of week kind of thing. Every single Tuesday at night. And for those of you who already have the Hook program, say so and tell everyone how freaking awesome it is and how much it's helped you. Nitin. Okay, Nitin. You said, Trip, I posed my question 6 times, got ignored. Maybe I'll try again next week. All right, Nitin, go ahead. Post it again, buddy. Just telling you, there's a lot of people here, so I'm trying to get to it. Johnny, we don't ask questions like that. You're going to get put in a timeout. Nitin, you better hurry before I forget. Trip, what's the success rates regarding Hooked and Hooked Online according to other buyers? The success rate is 100% only if you're using it. So there's a lot of people who don't see success in it, and that's because they didn't go through the whole program and they're not applying it. But pretty much anyone who's ever applied it, it works for. You know, a lot of people, they buy programs, they buy courses, they don't do anything with it. I've heard of people buying courses that are really expensive. By the way, this course is only $67, so it's not going to break the bank. But I've heard people buying courses upwards of $500, $1,000, and they don't do anything with it, which boggles my mind, but it happens. So how do you make girls chase you? Well, in the next 12 hours, I'll be putting out a video about 3 text messages that make a girl chase you. So watch that video and you can learn all about that. Am I an introvert or an extrovert? I would say I'm probably an extrovert. Good questions today, guys. Thank you for coming on. We got over 100 likes. Very cool. Very cool. Got a few more minutes left, guys. I'm going to go for a couple more minutes. I'll answer a couple more questions. Garrett says, how do I get dates in reality? I've tried them all, but I have anxiety. Women are stuck up, busy, on the phone. I'm trying to move forward from my ex. That's good. I don't know why I'm not getting dates. I'm not bad looking. Well, it's not always having to do with your looks. Again, this is a big question, you know, that's a big question. How do I get girls? How do I attract girls? I mean, honestly, you should be watching a lot of the videos on my channel or getting the Hooked program if you really want to get that question answered. Alex says, good to know. How's your worldwide tour? It's going very well. Right now it's more of a Southeast Asia tour, but it's going really good. Luke says, hey Trip, I'm sorry for asking so many questions. I thought you didn't scroll that far up. It's okay. Trip, why do guys wear ear piercings? I don't know. Why do people do anything that they do? I don't know. Nitin, I never got your question again. Did you leave? I was looking for it, Nitin. Oh, there it is. What to make if you've been texting with the girl on Insta? She's fun, talks a lot, but she doesn't give her a number. It's been 2 days. Have you asked her for a number? If you've asked her for her number and she has not given it to you, that means she's not interested. How to keep a conversation going. I have like 3 videos on that. So just go to my YouTube channel, go to the little search icon, and type in keep a conversation going. You'll find stuff. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. That's it. We're closing in on an hour. I know you guys have so many more questions. Why do people ask me about my neckbeard so much? All right. Thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure being here. The internet's a little funky in Southeast Asia, so it was very close for me not to be able to do this, but I'm glad I made it work. Thank you for joining me here on Facebook. Thank you for joining me on YouTube. And if I didn't get to your question, there are many ways to get it answered. 1, you can watch videos on my YouTube channel. 2, you can get the program Hooked at getherhooked.com. Highly suggest that you go get that program right away because every single question that's been asked today is answered in that program, especially if you're looking to get over your ex, meet a girl in the workplace if you so desire, attract girls in class, get a girlfriend. All this stuff is in the Hooked program. I'll put the link here. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for joining me. I'll be live next week here on YouTube and on Facebook. You're welcome, Brandon. Don't forget, every single Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you don't know what time that is, look that up online. 9 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. And if you are just coming on live now, this recording stays up. So this does not go anywhere. I keep this on live on the channel. I'm putting out videos every single day, so don't forget to check out more videos on the channel. That's all I got. Thank you. Time to get on with the rest of the day. Peace, everybody.